Grammarly helps me get the best grades possible while depleting the least amount of hours of my week. I'm Lauren Taylor.
I have to finish writing this paper. I have to finish this paper. I'm swamped. No one told me college would be so...
Welcome. Today, I'd like to make a guide for my new learners. Today, we'll be going over your inventory, your weapons, and your armor, and how to prep before the Edge of Fate expansion. Now, I will preface this by saying, on July 13th, the Bungie servers will be going down at around 10 a.m. That way they can start doing maintenance to prepare for the influx of players on July 14th when the expansion drops. So make sure you grind everything out before July 13th. Let's start with our inventory. For our enhancement cores, I highly recommend you get to at least 200 before the new expansion drops. This is going to allow you to masterwork certain pieces of weapons and armor. And if you don't have enough of these, you can always come to your Ghost mod, come to this fourth little box, and equip the Core Harvest mod. This will make sure that every time you complete a ritual activity, which is your Vanguard strikes, your Crucible, and your Gambit activities, you will always get at least one or two enhancement cores. It's going to take a minute, but it will be worth it all. Next are your upgrade modules. Everyone's loot is being reset when the expansion drops. It will have to build it back up. To combat this and the power scaling, make sure you have 25 upgrade modules. This will make sure that you can upgrade all of your favorite weapons and all your favorite armor as you level up your stuff through the campaign. Now, the campaign's going to give you some of these, but it's not going to give you enough to complete a whole loadout unless you do the whole campaign legendary. So, be warned. And for enhancement prisms, I wouldn't worry too much about this unless you don't have armor that is suited for the new stats. And what do I mean by this? And I'll get into this later, but the stat system is changing heavily within the new expansion. And you need to make sure you have armor that's going to be capable of coming up to par with the new standards. So these enhancement prisms are only going to be used for your armor. Any legendary or exotic piece of armor use these. I would say grind at least 25 to 30 of these if you can. There's also a Ghost mod in the same slot. It gives you like maybe one or two enhancement prisms. I wouldn't focus on this mainly, but if you need the prisms, it's right there for you. Next is our exotic pieces of inventory items. I can talk about Ascendant Shards and Ascendant Alloys at the same time. So Ascendant Shards will only be used mainly for your exotic pieces of armor if you want to masterwork it. For the most part, hit 10 of these. There's a very easy way of doing this. If you come to your Tome of Want, come to the second box, and make sure you equip this. This will ensure that you always get either an Ascendant Alloy, an Ascendant Shard, or an exotic engram. All three of these are amazing for you to pick up. So make sure you do this if you're running into the Nether, or the blade of was it Quarter Blades? I can't forget. I can't remember it right now. But make sure you equip that. Your Ascendant alloys are going to be used exclusively for the craftable weapons. These are what you use to get your enhanced perks. You're gonna need 2 of these, obviously, if you want to put 2 enhanced traits on your weapons. But they're pretty self-explanatory. Now, your exotic cipher. This is where we're going to get a little tricky here. For a lot of new lights, you might not have every exotic weapon. So you're going to come to this kiosk, the Monument of Lost Light, or Monument to Lost Lights. And this is going to let you pick up every, or most exotics from prior expansions. So like we come here, all it costs is 1 exotic cipher and a little bit of glimmer. And not all of them are like that. And if you check your exotic kiosk, you'll see them. Some of them will cost like raid points, but I have made guides to help you get raid points before. So just farm that on solo and give it a couple of weeks, or if you do it on all 3 characters, it should be a little faster. But eventually you will be able to pick up one of these exotics from the raids. These will be your Legend of Acreus, your Teraba, I believe. Yeah, Teraba, your Anarchy, and Bad Jude. No, just Anarchy, Teraba, and Legend of Acreus. I think they stopped doing the whole spoils thing after that. The next is your Deep Sight Harmonizers. You will only get these from the Battle Pass. Every time a new season or Battle Pass comes out, they will only be in there. Save these and use them sparingly. These are going to turn any weapon that can come as a red border and force it into a red border. That way you can add another pattern to your collection, so you can use these later. Now let's talk about weapons. Your weapons are going to be probably the most important thing that you have, aside from armor, obviously. And you're going to be asking, what's so important about my weapons? I have good weapons as is. Now, what makes a weapon unique and good is the roll. So like, let's come to my vault for example. I have this shotgun right here. It's got Envious Assassin and Destabilizing Rounds. This is what we consider a very good or a god roll. Now that's not including like these over here, which can always be changed. But if we come over to my vault, you're going to see a couple of these. You'll be like, but exotic, I have like 4 of these. What makes that one so unique? What makes that one the god roll? And there's always different god rolls for different people. You have your PvP god rolls, and you have your PvE god rolls. But for this guide exclusively, I will only be talking about PvE. You'll know when you have a PvE god roll if the perks synergize and overall are just very strong. So this is going to give me volatile rounds when I defeat any target with the shotgun. And it's going to make them blow up. And this shotgun, as long as I get other kills with other weapons before I swap to this, I'm going to have more ammo in the magazine. Which means, let's say I use my hand cannon right here. Let's use this. I get like maybe 20 kills. I'm gonna at least have more than 6 shotgun shells in the mag. So I'm gonna pull this out. I'm going to kill something with the shotgun. And then everything else is going to start dying as I shoot other enemies. It all comes down to what your role is. But the most important thing is your heavy weapon. Now, you may have a good power weapon as is. And I'm not saying go and farm these out if you already have something that works. hits or does a lot of damage. But make sure you have a very particular set of weapons. You're going to want at least one good machine gun, one good linear fusion, one good rocket, and one good sword. I'm trying to think if there's any other. I'm gonna make a separate guide for roles and what you should be looking out for, but it's something that you need to keep your eye out for. Now we're gonna move on to our armor. I was asked this earlier. I have this piece of loot already. Why do I need to get this specific version? And this is about the Aeon Swifts that Xur is selling right now. And this is where I'm going to get very technical. So if you have any questions after this, feel free to send a message or anything really. If any of this confuses you, I would like to help you. So all these stats right here are changing. Your mobility is turning into your weapon damage. Your resilience is turning into your health. Your recovery is going to become your class recovery. Your discipline is going to be grenade. Your intellect will be your super. And strength will be your melee. All the armor you have currently will be converted into this new system. So the earlier you prep for this new stat change, the better off you're going to be. So, like, let's go to Xur, for example, so I can explain. Xur's got a very good couple of roles for both Titans and Hunters. The Warlocks finally had their run cut short. So if we come over to Xur, you're going to see that he's selling the Aeon Swifts for Hunters. Now, the mobility stat on this is incredibly high. It's got a 21 rating. And here's what makes this unique role so good. For example, you have 21 mobility, like I stated, and all that stat number is going to be converted into weapon strength later. So when we enter the Edge of Fate, that mobility stat will become the weapon stat. And if you equip this Aeon Swift, you'll become closer to hitting that tier 10 or level 100 on that stat. Once you hit level 100, you will gain a very unique ability or buff. So like for mobility, which is going to become weapon damage, once you hit 100, all of the damage you do will be increased by 50%. I'm not sure if that's going to be the final number, but that is what they have released so far. It's going to be 50 for minor and major enemies, and 10% for bosses. So this is a very good rule. I highly recommend you pick this up. And Titans aren't slacking either. Titans have Syntheseps with 20 mobility. And with the strength stat being reworked, I would heavily recommend any Titan go and pick this up right now. Very good roll. Now, the Warlocks don't have a bad roll. I mean, it's 15, not as high, but we've had other Warlock exotics from the past from him that have had high rolls. And obviously it's going to have your class item. Now, why should I care about these stats? You're probably asking me. I have this armor already. It's working fine. And I don't think I need this armor change. Here is where I'm going to correct you. And I don't want to be that guy. Your stats are the most important thing in this game. Even more than your abilities, even more than your armor, even more than your weapons. Your stats dictate how you play. As you can see right now, we are currently in episode Heresy of the Final Shape, right before the new expansion. I'm running 100 resilience and 100 recovery. Now, at the current time, what this does is it makes me very tanky. And I also heal fast. This is what allows me most of the time to take hits that other Guardians sometimes can't take. So let's say I go into like a Grandmaster. Someone with lower resilience will die faster than I do because I have more resilience. And now let's say someone's got lower recovery than I do. Let's say we both have 100 of resilience and we take the same amount of hits from the same damage, like the same damage origin. I'm going to get my health faster than him because his recovery stat is lower.
It means the 9 are not done with you yet.
Now, if you want to prep your stats before you go into the expansion, here's what you do. You're going to want to masterwork your armor. By masterworking your armor, you will gain a +2 in every single stat. Guaranteed. So like here, let's look at my gear. Normally my discipline would be 2, but because I have this helmet masterworked, I have it instead at a +4. Now you're going to be asking, how else would I be able to increase my stats normally? Well, here's the thing. In the very first slot right here is going to be your stat mod. I'm running a +10 recovery, which is what's boosting me to that +17. It's like if I take it off right now, I go down to 7.
Do not be alarmed.
And that's going to take me away from that 100. So this mod right here is going to be very important. Now these will be changing in the Edge of Fate for like your mod. I don't have all the information yet, so I can't provide that. But it's something you should definitely keep your eye out for. By using an exotic, I believe it's an exotic cipher, you can activate this Artifice slot. Now, what Artifice is going to let you do is it's going to let you put an additional +3 in any stat for free. No energy is required at all. So I have an additional +3 for my recovery because that's going to push me to my 100. And you're going to want to check your stats regularly. As we go into this expansion, here's what I would heavily recommend. I recommend that you focus on your mobility, aka weapon damage, your resilience, which is going to become your health, and then prioritize any of these 3 stats after you do resilience and mobility. If you want to spam your grenades, go for your discipline. If you want faster melee cooldowns, go for your strength. And if you want faster supers, go for your intellect. Every stat that you apply right now will be directly applied to the new stat system in the Edge of Fate. For the most part, our subclasses won't be changing, except for Prismatic, which will be losing some slots, some fragment slots, I should specify, on some of the aspects. Now, not all aspects are losing their fragment slots. Only a handful. So that should be something to state. Keep your eye out for it, because your build might change very heavily. That's all I've got to say for the prep phase. The next video I make will be about getting certain roles and what you should be looking out for as we go into this new expansion.